Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to the Netherlands once again. As I promised you, I want to try and make sure I review more Dutch beers more regularly on the channel, of course. So for this one we are going to return to Amsterdam and we're going to go back to Oedipus, who I've not reviewed anything from in maybe 2 years or so, I think. The last beer I reviewed from these guys was the Tai and they have rebranded all their bottles and things since then. But for this one we're going to try a special version of their Slomo, which is normally their Session Saison, but this one has been brewed with Slovenian hops, in particular the Styrian Wolf, which is meant to be a really nice tropical fruity hop. But this guy comes in at 4.5% ABV, and I actually couldn't find a rate beer profile for this one, so I'm not sure how it will be, but knowing this brewery, it will be pretty good. And this one of course came as a recommendation from Balder at Kiosk in Copenhagen, who's recommended me some good beers before, and it did pique my interest with the fact that it was Slovenian hops, because the beers that I reviewed from Davor of course were really quite nice. So this one should be very interesting, and I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, link to my other reviews I've done from Oedipus before. Hopefully I can add some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for the Dutch beers that I've reviewed for you before, and that's constantly being added to, of course. And please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review, especially if you're watching in the Netherlands. But it's always great to hear from you guys, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. If you haven't tried some Dutch beer, incidentally, I highly recommend that you do it. Maybe it doesn't get out there as much just because of how the Netherlands is sandwiched by Germany and Belgium, very historic beer producers of course, but there is some really high quality beer coming out of the Netherlands these days. But anyway, to tell you a little bit about Oedipus then. So Oedipus was founded back in 2011 in Amsterdam by a team of 4. This is Alex, Paul, Rick and Sander, and they said that they began brewing because they found themselves socialising a lot while drinking beer, and they basically decided that they wanted to brew some of it for themselves. So they say that the whole aim of the brewery is to create tasty beers that they like to drink themselves and to use interesting and the best quality ingredients that they can find. So in October 2013 the brewery moved to their new space in Vesterdok, which was actually intended to be the brew pub. However, they found out that when they received a permit that there was an old contract involving this property that meant that it could not be used as a food retail space. So they managed to secure a new site in the old Stork area in Amsterdam, and this was of course where they started to expand their brewing capacity. They actually conducted a major crowdfunding exercise to move to Vesterdok, and in 2015 they opened their tap room at the brewery, and the address that's listed on the website for this is the Gedempte Hammerkanaal in Amsterdam Noord. And if you look at the map of just where this brewery is, it's just over the water from the area, the historic old town area that has all of the canals and things. Amsterdam, of course, is a very nice city, somewhere that I need to get back to because I haven't been there in a number of years. But apparently the brewery is named after the Greek god Oedipus, who unwittingly killed his father and then married his mother, and apparently he didn't know his true identity and thus followed a life full of wrong choices, and apparently even his best qualities could not save him from the actions that defied the laws of gods and men. And many say that Oedipus embodied the two kind of recurring themes of Greek mythology: the flawed nature of humanity and the individual's helplessness against destiny. So quite an interesting name actually for this brewery, and I guess these guys maybe reckon they were destined to brew beer, so yeah, it's not a bad destiny to have, I would say. So yeah, they've got quite a few different beers. If you go and check out their website in the description below, you can have a look at all of those for yourself. But as I said, the last beer I reviewed from these guys was the Tai, which I think was a tripel, but it had lots of different interesting spices and things. I remember it being a really quite nice beer, and of course when I was in Kiosk, they had a few of these different beers, but it was this one that piqued my interest. One, because of Balder's recommendation, and also because it had the Slovenian hops in it. So I'm really curious to try this one, and like I said, they have rebranded all their bottles since I reviewed them before. So this one, as I mentioned to you, is a 4.5% Saison, and it's brewed using Styrian Wolf hops, which are supposed to have some nice tropical fruit qualities. So I'll just bring up the camera and let you have a little quick look at the artwork of this one then before we open it up. So yeah, as you can see, really nicely presented. I do quite like this kind of simple artwork that they have, and there you can see there is the Oedipus symbol. I'm not sure if that's meant to be like a flower or a kind of random hand thing or exactly what it is. Maybe a splash in the water or something, but I really quite like it, and it does make them quite distinctive. And I think the last time I reviewed their beers, they actually had black bottle caps instead of purple ones. So yeah, really nicely presented. And without further ado then, we'll get this guy open and get on with the tasting. So yeah, as you can see, a nice smoky opening when we pop the bubble, and we'll get this guy out and into the glass. And right away, I can smell some of these tropical fruits that the Styrian Wolf hop is supposed to give you. So really looking forward to this. It's actually quite dark for a Saison as well. That's kind of unusual. I've never tried the original Slomo. Maybe that's one that I need to seek out now, having tried, or having been about to try this one. But for me, just look at the colour of that. That's really dark for a Saison in my experience. If I hold it up to the light though, it does become a little bit more orange and things. It's actually more along the lines of the colour of an IPA. But to me, that's very, very dark for a Saison. I always expect a Saison to be a really bright sort of yellow colour, but I guess the colour doesn't particularly matter. It's more about the taste of the beer. And just as I'm moving it around, like I say, I can smell a lot of these lovely kind of tropical fruit notes. There's a lot of sort of mangoey, passion fruity kind of things coming out of this. So as you can see, there's a finger of a frothy white head on this one, and it's perfect white. It's not even cream or anything like that. The beer does have a little bit of transparency to it. I'm not sure how well you can see that on the camera. Like I say, it is darker than I would normally expect for a Saison. There's one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a couple going up towards the bottom of the head, but it doesn't look like an overly carbonated beer, and it does look really quite nice. As I say, the quirky thing about this is that it's a little bit darker. I can see the light reflecting into the camera there, so apologies for that. But yeah, let's have a closer look at the aroma then and see how we get on. Ooh, that smells nice. That's a really interesting smelling beer. So of course, you get the typical things you expect of the Saison. There's a big kind of bready, yeasty kind of malt base going on there, a little bit of a kind of smooth wheaty character as well, a little bit of kind of clovey spice and banana bubblegum, all of these typical things of that you would expect of a Saison beer. In that regard, I think it leans a little bit more towards the kind of bready, yeasty thing than the wheaty character, which is what you'd expect, of course. And there's not too much of the way of banana in this one. To me, it leans a little bit more towards that kind of candied bubblegum sort of thing. But it's nice. The hoppy character of this beer, though, is very, very interesting. Yeah, there's a bit of... It's quite mangoey. I'm getting a good bit of apricot out of this one as well, and pineapple, I think. Pretty sure that's pineapple that's coming out of there. Yeah, mangoes, pineapple, and I think apricot. The apricot's sticking out to me on this one. But that's really cool actually. I think they've used solely Slovenian hops in this one, only Slovenian hops. And from what I gather, the other version that they had, I think it used maybe a Styrian Golding, or maybe Kent Goldings as well. But English hops, of course, will give you a completely different profile from Slovenian ones. From what I remember, most of the Slovenian beers and Slovenian hopped beers that I tried, they did tend to have a kind of noble German hop quality, but I guess this is quite a high alpha acid hop that gives you a lot of these things, and that is quite cool, of course. The Slovenians, in my experience, produce some really high quality beers themselves, and it is kind of cool that they're starting to experiment with the hops and produce things like this. So this is a hop I guess I need to remember, the Styrian Wolf, if it can produce kind of aromas like this. And that's of course very exciting times ahead for Slovenian beers, as you've seen me review. But that smells lovely. Just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one, because I don't think you're going to find many Saison beers that are hopped solely with Styrian Wolf. Some lovely tropical fruits in this. Maybe a little bit of passion fruit as well, but peaches, apricots are the main part of the aroma in this one. Pineapple as well. Mangoes, but lovely smelling beer. So take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma for yourselves. But let's get stuck into this one then. So this one is the Slomo Special Edition with Slovenian hops, namely the Styrian Wolf from Oedipus in Amsterdam. Once again, thank you to Balder Kiosk for this recommendation. Skål, Prost. That's nice. That's a good quality beer. As I said, I've never tried the original Slomo, so I can't really compare. But to me, This is a really quite nice, just easy drinking Saison beer. And I like the way that the hoppiness comes out of this. I hope they continue this beer actually. That's nice. You know, this hop, it reminds me a little bit of the, maybe a little bit of the Mosaic, but also a little bit of the Citra. It's got these kind of lighter, juicier tropical notes that you expect. It's not quite got the orangey notes of Mosaic right enough, but it's got the same kind of feel, just with a more tropical flavour. But this is lovely. This is a damn good beer. Thumbs up to Oedipus once again. They've done a good job with this. So yeah, as you'd expect, you know, the Saison qualities in this one are quite nice. They're just in the background. It's supposed to be easy going. When it's a session Saison, that's kind of what the name implies. So the middle of your palate, you've got that nice sort of bready character that just goes right across the middle of your tongue. There's that kind of wheaty smoothness to it on top of that. It's more, there's a little bit of an almost grainy dryness popping out of this one a bit later too, which is quite interesting. But I'm not getting too much in the way of a kind of banana bubblegum note. That was coming out in the aroma a little bit, but it's not too prominent in the actual flavour of the beer. But that's nice. I really like how this hop comes across. Like I said, I really need to remember this. But the way the grainy character this is coming out is lovely as well. So on the hoppy side of things then, the back corners of the palate, there's a tiny little bit of earthiness, but as you come further forward, it's got a bit of a slightly spicy floral character coming out. You can just feel that on the edge of your tongue. And then as you move round the very front curve of your palate, it's lighter and grassy. It's almost a kind of lemongrassy character that's coming out of this one. It does have a little bit of a lemony character to it, this one. That's nice, that's lovely. I mean, as I say, I hope this isn't just done as a kind of one-off, because it's definitely good enough to be one of their core range beers. I hope they continue this one. But it's nice. So, the fruit, of course, the fruity side of this beer is where the interesting part comes out. So just behind the front curve of your palate there, that's where you always get this little oily bubble where the nice fruity esters come out. And as I said, there's a bit of a sharper citric base to this one, which obviously is a characteristic of the hop. But then you get these lighter tropical fruit notes. There's a bit of mango in there. I think there's a wee bit of passion fruit too. But then I'm getting these kind of lighter notes. It's not quite, I don't think there's that much in the way of pineapple in this, maybe just a little bit. But it's reminding me a lot of kind of an almost sort of lychee kind of gooseberry flavour in there. I think there's a good bit of apricot as well though. It's the apricot for me that's kind of standing out a little bit with this beer. And that suits the way that the kind of nice smooth wheaty character comes out too. The slight graininess that you're getting from the malt base in this one suits the slightly spicy floral character as well. But for me, this is a really nice beer. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this again. It's really well done, but I wouldn't expect anything less from Oedipus. And once again, thank you to Balder for the recommendation. He's called it on this one. Really good stuff. Yeah, that's a good beer. In terms of recommending this, you know, it's kind of difficult because I can't think of a Saison that I've come across that's quite like this one. The hop has a lot of unique qualities to it, but if you like your Saisons to be nice and smooth and easy going, and a little bit more kind of hop forward, I think, you know, that's the kind of profile this beer fits. So if that's the kind of thing that sounds good to you, you will enjoy this beer. It's not too prominent. If you like a kind of stronger, more maltier Saison, I guess stick to something that is that's, you know, stick to the Belgian side of things. This is more of a kind of, I guess, a new world Saison, if you like. It's got a lot more hoppy quality to it than it's kind of one of these new wave Saisons rather than being more traditional. But I like how it comes across. It's very easy drinking. This would be a very good summer beer, which is maybe kind of what the intention is, but to me they've done a very good job of this. And that Styrian Wolf hop seems to be one that I think a lot of people will keep an eye on. So yeah, if you like a Saison beer with a nice kind of lighter tropical fruit, and if you're a fan of the Citra hop, I think you will enjoy this one as well. That's good. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I'd say this is mid-bodied. It is a bit lighter than some of the Saisons you're going to come across, but it's mid-bodied. It's got a good bit of an oily mouthfeel to it, this one, I think. Carbonation is very, very smooth. The malt base, like I said, overall is quite smooth, but it's got a little bit of a kind of dry, grainy character to it that comes out. The hops have a little bit of bitterness. It's not going to blow your head in terms of IBUs, but like I say, there's a good bridge between the kind of grainy character the beer has and a little bit of the spiciness, and there's a good little bit of a juicy, fruity character to this one, which is just quite nicely done. And the whole beer just goes together very well, and that's what I remember was the case with the Tai that I had from these guys before. They just, the whole thing about this brewery, I think maybe is how the flavours kind of blend together, but they've done a nice job with this, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink it again. So yeah, been really cool to review another beer from Oedipus for you. I hope you guys have enjoyed my take on this one. If you like a nice easygoing Saison with a little bit, pardon me, of tropical fruit character, I highly recommend that you check this one out. And I do need to try a darker beer from these guys next, I think, because both of them have been lighter style. So I will review some more of these beers for you in the next little while. But let me know your own thoughts on this one in the comment section below. Like I said, it's always great to hear from you guys. Let me know your favourite Oedipus beers as well. But thank you once again for watching. Until the next time, I'll catch you very soon. Do make sure you check out all the links and stuff in the description below. But this was the Slomo, a special edition of that with Slovenian hops, the Styrian Wolf, which turned out really nicely, from Oedipus over in Amsterdam. Until the next time, slange just now, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Prost.